Consider it done.
That's right.
Is the tape machine rolling?
The tape machine, yes. It's being cranked by the gerbils right now.
Okay. That means it's time for Bingo is Life.
Yeah, that's right.
The podcast.
Oh,
Joined by the Howdy Show brothers, left to right, Chris to Mike,
hey.
with the green and blue shirts on.
That's right.
I'm
That's right.
still Jay's there. I'm not the one who's dead.
Yeah, that's right. You're not this week either.
I'm not dead this week either.
No Mum Shackles?
No Mum Shackles.
No Christian Parent?
They're off eloping with... No. I assume they're off with their respective spouses.
Yeah.
Sure.
Boyfriends, girlfriends.
Or they or projects.
Or projects.
They're
Yeah.
very busy people.
Yeah.
Always doing things.
We have a great guest coming up here in
We do.
the silent Dave chair.
Super excited because I'm ready for some stories.
Oh.
What happened with Bingo? It seemed like
Bingo was dead tonight,
it
man.
looked really dead in here when I came
Yeah,
in here.
yeah, yeah. Well, everybody had gone by the time you were here, and there weren't that many.
It looked like an odd situation.
It was a slow group tonight.
Did anyone win the $100?
No, but
Everyone from your cult has left. They got deprogrammed here. They got
No,
all-
we're at the slowest time of the year right now.
Yeah.
School just comes back, and everybody's like, "Are we allowed to go out yet?" The whole towny thing. It's weird.
Are you pretty sure? Are you sure there's not like a Mormon or like an ex-Mormon ex-bingo subreddit that everyone's reading?
You know, maybe
All the dirty secrets of Bingo's life have been revealed by the internet.
there's a disinformation campaign about bingo.
I don't know.
The Elephant Graveyard is putting out videos about Bingo is
About
life.
bingo.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
good.
taking us down.
Well, I will say we didn't have that many people, but we really had a good time. It was a good group of people.
Oh, yeah.
They had fun. There was a little dancing, much shouting, and
Cool.
and even some winning.
So plugging things, we've got the Bob Dylan,
That's right.
Bob and Me
Bob and
tribute
Me?
coming up. Which Vonda Brown wanted to go.
What?
I got tickets. I had to get tickets in the back row.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was just going to hang out, like in the lobby. Or
Yeah,
something.
I think there are 35 tickets left.
That's
now.
fantastic.
Oh, I think we might sell it out.
We
Then.
it's getting
35?
close.
Is that a
30.
thing? You think 35 people will walk in? Day
Possibly.
We
Possibly.
have so yeah. If you're listening now and you want a ticket, get it because I don't know that you'll be able to get it night of. There's
And-
not a guarantee.
And that kind of just leads us right straight to our guest.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, yeah. Speaking of creative, I'll segue into that. But the creative project I've been involved in,
Yes, what you
was the Super Gr8 Festival 2025.
yes.
And all the drama surrounding that in your brain. So give us our guest.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Introduce our
excited.
guest.
So we've been trying to get Jeff Snow on here, and he's the guy who does all the booking
Yeah.
for the Golden Pony.
His job is just to cancel and send a representative.
That's exactly right. But we are so lucky because tonight we got the owner of the Golden Pony,
Yeah.
Paul Summers. What's up, Paul?
welcome aboard.
Thank you for being here, man.
So you have an extremely stressful job,
Yeah.
and you have all your hair.
Very high stress. Well, it's all turned gray and pretty
It's not all
rapid
gray.
rate, but
Oh.
it's
Bah. At least you have it.
after a lifetime of working in restaurants and bars, I think it's something I'm uniquely qualified for and able to kind of maintain my sanity throughout the duration of. But yeah, I've worked in a lot of bars, and so I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. And then I always said I would never open my own place, restaurant, bar, or otherwise. But the concept for the Golden Pony kind of just dawned upon me at just the right time, and it was like, okay, well, if this is the opportunity, this is the only opportunity that I probably would ever commit to. So I went ahead and I did it.
How long ago was that?
That was 10 years ago.
It feels like about
wow.
a year now. Like
10
3
years.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thanks.
10-year anniversary.
That's,
Yeah,
a,
we just
that's
had
a
our-
long time to keep that place open.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, because places come and go, and I try to be supportive of everybody, and a place lasts for a year, and it's like, that's still a success because it is not easy to do. And one of the funniest pieces of advice I ever got about opening a restaurant was get all the money out of your savings, your checking, your pockets, hit up your family, friends, take out as many loans as you possibly can, then take all of the, cold hard cash to a parking lot and light it on fire, and at least you'll be done with it.
Well,
Instead of doing that over the course of the next year or two.
Yeah.
do you know anything about the duration of the Golden Pony versus, say, the Jokers or Valentinos or the Blue Nile? Have you
a great question.
Have you outlasted all them?
And the reason you're asking is because of the location, right?
Yeah, we're talking about the Golden
Yeah.
Pony.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
owns the Golden Pony, which is the premier arts. What would you say it is? Art nightclub.
Yeah, arts, live music, culture, community, restaurant, pizza, bar, DJ, dance.
And it's a famous,
We
famous.
just do all kinds of things to our constant frustration sometimes, but it's a lot of fun, and we love each and everything that we do. And it attracts a lot of people to come work there, which I always appreciate. I feel like it attracts some really great people, a lot of creative people, writers, musicians, and
Yeah, but
and
all those people have constantly crazy schedules.
yeah, you have to. If you're going to work with musicians, you have to be ready to cover their shifts when they go on tour,
Uh-huh. Right.
and call them,
Snap.
pick them up.
Focus.
Yeah,
Focus.
Yeah,
if you lurk on the Harrisonburg subreddit, whenever there's somebody comes on there, it's like I live in Harrisonburg and I have no meaning in my life. They go down to the Golden Pony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Everybody-
right.
They're always
Find some people.
Go to the porch of the Golden Pony and you'll find some friends.
that's
Yeah.
true. Because we get such a wide array of people there, and I'm always like endlessly proud of that. You'll see the club girls on a Saturday night. You'll see the Spanish guys coming in on a metal show, and you'll see the punk crowd, the hip hop crowd, the experimental crowd, the goth crowd, and we just touch all these different people and communities because we're putting out live shows all the time of just any variety and any genre, and so we end up just seeing all these different people. And so a lot of times I go places, and I kind of just, you work in bars as long as I have, you're just going to kind of know everybody in the area. But it's really cool because people really appreciate what we do, and they have really unique experiences with us that differ from, I think, a lot of other places, and it's important, I feel like, to be more than just a restaurant or just a bar. The music venue aspect really adds something important to the work, and gives us all a sense of like a higher calling. We're doing
Right.
something that is really important because we're maintaining and facilitating the culture for the community here and for all of these touring musicians. And I'll get sent pictures sometimes, like my friend Alex, who does the Gr8 if you've ever heard of him. He was in St. Croix and sent me a picture of somebody wearing a Golden Pony shirt.
Awesome.
And so I was like, thinking it must be somebody that he knows. And he was like, no, I don't know him. He was just sitting at the table next to us in St. Croix. He's like, I have no idea who that is.
So you actually
That's
know
awesome.
the Gr8 guy, because I don't know that we talk about him a lot, but I don't know that any of us actually, we're not sure if he's a real person.
He's a lucid genius.
There's actually people
Cool.
like goofing on Gr8. I've seen some like
Yeah.
looks like Gr8, but it's not clever enough
Yeah.
to be Gr8.
Did you see the Creed poster?
Yes, is that him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Gr8, and it's just hilarious.
My favorite, most recent one of his was the have you seen my lost llama? And I've met multiple people who thought it was true. It's like, come on, it says has trouble reading the room. It's got to be a fake llama poster.
What
yeah,
is-
in his front yard, he has this really cool like plywood cutout of Lightning McQueen, and it just says "Follow all applicable traffic laws."
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
Every time I drive by, it makes
I think I've
Yeah.
seen some stickers like that. He must be doing stickers as well.
he might. But yeah, it's funny because my friend that lives in DC, he's like an animator, and he was the one that first turned me on to Gr8 and his Instagram page, and he was like, this dude lives in Harrisonburg. Do you know this dude? I've been following him for a while. And I checked out his stuff, and it was just like, he's just incredible at putting together collage work, doing like, just the cleverness thing to the nines.
I'm gonna forget which one of his photos of one of his posters went viral on some social media. Tens of
Yeah,
tens of
he
hundreds
has
of thousands.
a pretty sizable following on his platforms, and just here locally, I feel like people, because he puts stuff out. You know, that
Right.
his medium is such a unique medium, and the people that it kind of gets to is really interesting, and he kind of plays with everybody's like sense of understanding what you're looking at when you're looking at a flyer wall or when you're looking at a telephone pole, because I mean he just puts all kinds of stuff out there. I love it.
Is he sort of, what's the word, elusive or not wanting to be out and talking to people? Does he try to keep a low
No,
profile?
I don't think he actually tries to be like secret or anything, but you know, because he comes to the Pony a good bit, and you know, him and his wife will make the rounds on First Friday and check out all the art shows, and you know, they're really tuned in, and they put out a lot of zines and stuff, and they're constantly bringing in their zines to the Pony, and then we just had our punk market at the Pony a couple weeks ago, which was huge and just amazing. We had like 20 vendors.
Wow.
All really, really cool stuff, and Alex was there with his stuff, and you know, and he sold a lot of stuff. He's just got a lot of cool things and stuff that he sells.
I went to that. That was cool, and I enjoyed that. The guy who made the carpet.
Dude, the carpet guy was just out of control.
Oh, there was a guy who was making this carpet these designs that were just just amazing.
Yeah.
And they were reasonably priced as well.
Yeah, they were cheap
I was like,
for something that's handmade.
Yeah, I was like, how many hours are you putting in?
He had like
He's
Garfield.
Yeah, and he was like, 6 hours. I'm like,
It's crazy.
You have
I
the
told him we're probably gonna get him to do some custom stuff for us, because we've gotten I've gotten 2 rugs before, one of which is hanging up downstairs on one of the sound panels, but yeah, those things are just really cool, and they make great wall art for a music venue because they don't reflect sound.
yeah.
You have the so many different recurring cultural events like the Rock Lotto every year. You have the Halloween cover show.
Yeah, it's coming up. We just announced that today.
Anything else I'm missing
cool.
that happens on a regular basis? The punk flea market or whatever.
So that actually is kind of based off of something that the Blue Nile did called Mercado, and which was kind of styled after like an Ethiopian flea market, which was really cool. And it was, effectively it was very similar to the punk market that we did, and similar to the Mac Rock Label Expo, which they do every year for Mac Rock.
And you do Mac Rock every year as well?
Yeah, we do Mac Rock we are one of the venues that participates in Mac Rock, because that's like a multiple venue event. But frequently we've hosted the Label Expo there, which is kind of like a flea market too, of like record labels and artists and whatnot. But yeah, and then we have I had the skateboard art show, Skating Worshipers. That has kind of fallen out of frequency, but that was something that we had done
Skating Worshipers.
several years. Yeah,
Skating Worshipers. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
good name.
that was a fun one.
Where else did you work? In bar, you're talking about working in bars. Where were you before?
Yeah, well, that particular event, Skating Worshipers, was started, or I started it at the Artful Dodger when I was there, and I was a bartender there, and I curated all of the art shows and some of the music shows. We didn't have a lot of music there because the owner was, he was kind of aggressive towards live music. It's like he liked the idea of it, but then when it was happening, it was like, what the
Sounds like Jay Zer.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got that kind of Jay Zer energy. Frenetic.
What about Jeff Moe had an open mic there though, didn't he? Or I heard tell of it.
I'm not sure.
Brittany says he did. Maybe this is imaginary.
I don't recall that one. But,
Okay, cancel that.
but I know Elliott Smith played there during Mac Rock years and years ago.
Whoa.
That was a big claim to fame.
Yeah.
When it was the
and-
Blue Nile, though, right?
No, this is now I'm talking about the Artful Dodger where I worked, which is now present day Broad Porch Coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Dodger was doing a lot of good work back in the day, and they were around for a long, long time, and all the weird kids in high school hung out there and smoked cigarettes, and the artists going through JMU, and they had rotating art shows and all the different kinds of people with tattoos and piercings that worked there, and it was just kind of a come-all place for literally anybody. And the owners were a gay couple, and so of course being seated in the Shenandoah Valley, everybody surrounding us, was like, it's a gay bar.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but it was also a beautiful space. They would remodel that space
Yeah,
every so often, and they would really change it.
Yeah.
And it would become something different.
I remember
they
when
had
I
an
went appetizer
nightclub.
there one time. It was s'mores, and it came out with a little sterno that you could like make your s'mores
Yes.
That's awesome.
at the table, and it
Yeah.
was like, this is so
Yeah. I have a question. So that was it's kind of lean. So you worked at the Dodger, but where did you grow up? Where was home?
I don't really have a home, to be honest. I grew up everywhere.
You have a southern accent.
Now I do. At one time, I completely eradicated my southern accent. I moved from Norfolk to California when I was in fourth grade. And when I got to California, it was like a smaller city than Norfolk, but it was still kind of cool. But then I went to school and everybody was like, you sound like a redneck. And I was just like, what? Like, you sound like you're from the country. Like, I'm not from the country. And so, over time while I was there, it's like, either continue to hear for the way that I talk, or just start talking with a more like newscaster accent,
Hello.
which is exactly what I did. And then when we moved back to the East Coast, we moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina. Everybody was like, you're a Yankee.
Wow.
Like,
so you really do have no
yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in
Just
in
wandering.
Portsmouth and grew up a lot in Norfolk and Chesapeake, Newport News, and Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Chandler, Arizona, and Tascadero, California, and a bunch of places in each of the. My mom's like a gypsy,
Yeah.
and so we just moved all over the place, and so there's not really, and my family's pretty scattered too. So
Yeah.
I'd say Portsmouth is probably the closest I have to a home, but it's still, I've lived in Harrisonburg longer than I've lived anywhere else,
Right.
and this place still, I look at the mountains and the rivers, and it's just such a beautiful place, but it still feels like completely alien to me, which is cool because
Yeah.
it's like it still feels really fresh.
What brought you to Harrisonburg? Was college or?
Yeah, it was just kind of a whim. Me and my friends would move to the Outer Banks in the summertime after high school, and so I did that for 3 years. And after my second year, I was about to go back to Portsmouth and was attending ODU, so it was going to be my second year at ODU. And had just broken up with a girlfriend and was just kind of wanting to get away from there. And so I had some friends that had gone to JMU, and I'd visited them like twice, and it was like fun partying with them, and it was all my like skater friends and stuff. And so I was just like, I'll move up there with y'all. And so I moved up here and took over a bedroom in like a 5-bedroom apartment at Hunter's Ridge. And then after the first year, all my other roommates moved back or went to, I had one friend went to Hawaii, or two friends that went to Hawaii, and I stayed here and ended up, having a kid and working and finishing school, and then moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, and then Lumberton, North Carolina. And then my ex-wife is from here, and so we were living in Lumberton, North Carolina, which is kind of a dark place. It's where Blue Velvet was shot,
Whoa.
which makes
Cool.
complete and total sense if you've ever been. And it's also where Michael Jordan's father was murdered.
Oh.
Oh.
So the house that I lived in was like within like a mile of the location.
Is it in the
where-
mountains?
No, it's in the I think it's like it's the coastal region. It's like the coastal plain, but getting close to the sand hills of North Carolina. It's about 45 minutes from Fayetteville and just 20 miles from the South Carolina border on 95.
We need Mum Shackles here for the true crime twist
Mm.
on Lumberton.
Dude, it's crazy. There's a great documentary out about the death of Michael Jordan's father too, because it kind of encapsulates all the racial stuff that goes on down there, because they have the largest Native American tribe east of the Mississippi. And so you have like a third of the population is indigenous, a third of the population is African American, and then the other third is white people. And it makes for some interesting dynamics for sure.
Whoa.
And I taught middle school there when I was doing grad school.
You taught school.
Yeah, middle school for 2 years, 7th and 8th grade.
Why did you stop doing that?
Well, because we moved, because we were living there, and my ex-wife was just like, I cannot live here for
Yeah.
a single other year. This
Yeah.
is like, we had no friends. I was like doing grad school full time and teaching full time. And
What
she was
subject were you
finishing
teaching?
school, English
Yeah, all right.
or language arts.
Same here.
I was going to say, this is kind of funny. So you taught middle school. Mike also taught middle school English. You lived in a
Nags Head for the summer.
Nags Head for the summer. Mike lived in Nags Head
No
for the
way.
summer.
Yeah.
I bet you all. What
Yeah, we
year?
probably-
Might have been the same freaking years.
Yeah, I was
Hilarious.
there like 99, 2000,
Okay.
2001.
I was 94,
Oh, okay, so a little bit
95.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time, man. Just working in restaurants down there. I mean, that's where I really learned so much about working in restaurants and
Yeah.
service. Portical, I worked there. It was like a fine dining
Yep,
restaurant,
yep.
but they had a music venue, and they would have like really, really good bands. And some of the bands, we have Southern Culture on the Skids come
Yep,
through, like
yep.
about once a year, once every other year, and they used to play Portical like all the time. And they remember the owner. They're like, "Yeah, you worked at Portical." And I was like, "Yeah, no way." So they're like, "Yeah, man, Frank was awesome." I'm like,
Well,
"You might have thought so." But dude, for whatever reason, like he just, I think it was my long hair because back in like the 90s, like in 2000s, that was like a really off. I had so many jobs that like either wouldn't hire me because of my long hair, or they made me like stuff it in a hat
So
they
weird.
couldn't see it. It was just really bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frank Ajar Portical did not like me.
They'd pull you over. The cops in Harrisonburg would pull you over for long hair
No way.
in the 90s. When I cut my hair finally, I suddenly stopped getting pulled over by my
Wow.
buddies.
I got pulled over once going when I was like 16, and I remember I forgot to turn my lights on going downtown because I just was.
that's what happens
was
with
it-
long-haired
I was a
hippie
new
freaks.
driver, but I remember I remember the cop was like, "Let me look through your wallet." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I want to see if you got any LSD." I said,
right here.
I said, "You're insane." I mean, you are absolutely. I mean, I
Wow.
thought that was the most.
How would you even know?
I mean, I know. But you know what's funny though? I don't know why I just remembered this. It was like this. I had cut out. This is back then. We had newspapers. People would cut things out of the news, and I had a clip of they were going to put on a production of Jesus Christ Superstar in D.C. And I was like, "Oh, I'm interested in going to that."
So you
And I
cut it out of the
out,
newspaper?
and it was so I had this paper in my wallet.
Oh, Lord.
And the officer was like,
What's this Jesus Christ thing about?
I said, "It's a musical I'm considering attending."
He's like, "Yeah, right, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've heard about him putting LSD on the pages of the Bible. I'm a cop and I'm in the know."
This is so crazy.
Yeah, no, it's the most adorable thing about cops is they like make up their mind about like really
Oh,
complex
100%.
situations like the first 5 seconds
Yeah,
that
yeah.
something takes place, and then spend the rest of the time trying to prove that. And then when you're like, "Oh no, that's crazy, dude! Like you're out of your mind if you think that. If this is what's actually happening." Like, yeah, right. Busted.
I want to get back to what is the capacity of the Golden Pony? What do you got? What is the magic number?
So we're a split level entity, and the upstairs dining room is fire coded for 83 people because there's lots of chairs and tables and stuff. Then we have like an additional like 40 on the patio. The downstairs is I think 192.
Awesome.
Wow.
But that includes staff, and so we depending on what the show is, we will usually sell about 175 tickets, and for DJ nights we'll go even lower than that because people are moving around a
Yeah,
lot
sure.
more, and then sometimes for hardcore shows, it's like you need to make sure there's a little bit of space for all the craziness that can go down. We just had a Terror play recently, and that was pretty wild. And it was like they're clearly on some kind of like list or something because the police don't usually reach out to us about genres outside of hip hop. And but they were like, what's going on with this Terror show? Like,
So they reach
what
out to
person
you
that
individually?
knows? Yeah.
They just call you up
Yeah.
like, we need
well,
to
there
talk.
was an email, but it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what person that knows what kind of band they are, and because people do
It
get
could have
rowdy
just
at
it
their
could have
shows.
just been the word that was like
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
because we have all kinds of crazy name bands play there. I mean, I can't even I shouldn't even say what But one of the other bands on that bill, of course, was 400 or 200 stab wounds.
How much, like if you're booking somebody like Southern Culture on the Skids or Cro-Mags or something, how much bureaucracy do you have to go through? They have like agents and booking people and.
Yeah, I mean, some of Southern Culture on the Skids, they're just like road dogs. They've been doing this for such a long time.
Amazing.
They're like the B-52s of country. They're all incredible people. I love every time they come through. Like, I love spending time with them. I love seeing them. I love talking to them. And then their show, they're literally throwing fried chicken around. And so it's like, what's not to love? And the music is incredible. And so the drummer, he works a lot with the booking, and so you end up talking to him directly a lot, and so that kind of cuts out a lot of stuff because he's in the know about all of the details, and it just makes it a little bit cleaner, and and they're very responsive. They still have an agent, of course, but yeah, they're super easy to work with, and some of the larger artists, when we have like Lucero, you're talking to agents and tour managers and stuff like that, but it's really not that much different from any other show, because it's like they all have some version of this stuff, and they all have their writers and their tech writers. And
Are you putting people up in hotels and whatnot? Or?
yeah, on occasion. I mean, if it's part of the package, sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And
well, that kind of brings me to, who is somebody that you guys have brought in that you've been like, this is it, we did it, we got.
Well, for me personally, and you can
personal.
tell by using the urinal at the upstairs bathroom, HR from Bad Brains performed,
Bad Brains,
and that was just an incredible show. Jeff booked that. It was before Jeff was like really like working with us. He was just kind of occasionally like booking shows that he was into, and when he told me, he was like, I think I'm gonna have this HR show work out. It's just, that's crazy. And so he came, and like me and Jeff were just like servants to HR, dude. We were just getting him anything he wanted, just talking to him, hanging, and he was like super chill, super easy to be around. And we just kind of chatted a whole bunch and talked to him, and then he played his show, and it was awesome, and everybody loved it. And I got a bunch of pictures, and one of those pictures now is the one that's up behind the urinal.
Awesome.
Because people kept punching holes in the wall right there. And so I was like, I'm going to put plywood up here. And then I was like, if I'm going to put plywood up here, I'm going to put one of my photographs really big on the plywood. And so it looks really cool. My friend Jimmy from Age Old Signs kind of did some graphic, like a lightning bolt, like their album cover. And but after they played, HR called Jeff's phone the next day, and Jeff wasn't able to answer the call, so he left a message. And he was like, hey, Jeff and Paul, I just want you both to know that I had the best time playing at the Golden Pony.
Wow.
And he just went on and on about how
Awesome.
great it. He's like, I want to do this again, and I want you both to know that you are spiritual brothers. And we were just like, dude, that it's like, I've got, I could take all my degrees together, and they mean a lot less than HR telling me and Jeff that we're spiritual brothers.
Yeah,
That guy was an incredible athlete. I knew those guys in D.C. in '78, and I met him on the street, And
No way.
Remember the Bayou? You ever been there?
No,
The old Bayou. They had a balcony that was way. I must have been like 20 feet up in the air, and he would like do flips.
Yeah.
Well, like they would kill. It would have killed me, and I was a young man. And I don't know how the heck he was doing.
Yeah,
it.
you can see his physique in those days. It was just like, just solid muscle, and just his athleticism was just out of control.
That was my story about them. As I was hanging out down in there was a place called Madam's Organ, which was it was not the original. It was just like a spray painted crashed out duplex down there on 18th. I forget where it was, but. And I just fresh into D.C. from Goshen, Indiana, like listening to Fleetwood Mac, and
This is heavy.
well, I didn't know. I met the bass player, and he's like, yeah, we're playing tonight, and come on back down, So I was like, oh, okay, and I'm standing there like 10 feet from the stage waiting for the show to start, and all of a sudden it's like,
Dude, yeah, you got to be ready when their set starts. The first guitar stroke, it just you will lose your whole beer. You might fall to the floor.
Yeah.
well,
awesome.
that's what happened to me, and I did not know what the hell was going on, and I was like struggling to in fear of my life, trying to get to the wall, and I finally got to the wall, and I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I run back inside, and
Yeah,
that was
I've never been more physically exerted.
Yeah.
Because me and my friend Jason, that used to live with HR in Richmond for a time, we went and saw HR at we saw Bad Brains at the Howard Theater, and Jizza from the Wu-Tang Clan opened up for him. It was just an incredible show. And during the Bad Brains set, it was just like the first stroke of the guitar, and it was just like there's no pit. There's no like pinpoint where it's crazy. It's like it's absolutely insane. Every single square inch of floor.
That's wild.
And I mean, you can't control it. You're just like in the ocean when the red flags are up and nobody's supposed to be swimming. You're just getting washed around.
well, the way as opposed
That's
to the
awesome.
other straight edge bands back in those days, the way they would do it was they would get everybody to a crazy frenzy with the hardcore beat, and then they would slow down to like a reggae thing.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
I mean,
it's-
that's I love about Bad Brains is
Yeah.
like the weirdness of it. Like when you listen to those records and it goes from like the hardest, most catchiest, and I mean to date, like we're doing this so long ago, and it holds up against anything that's come since then, and I've yet to see anything better in that genre, especially. And
It's so weird that they were all African American too.
Yeah.
That was very
Yeah.
unusual for that genre.
yeah, it is interesting how that happened, but they predate so much of the other hardcore stuff and heavier stuff, and they really kind of
Yeah, I mean,
were
you're kind of known
the-
for
the
pioneers.
seed.
Yeah.
What?
Pioneers.
yeah,
Yeah.
pioneers. That's the word.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shows, I today just bought my Illiterate Light tickets. Congratulations, 3 nights of those guys
Yeah, that's
in
gonna be
October.
fun.
That's going to sell out every night.
Oh yeah,
That's gonna be-
It's definitely on its way.
Yeah, I love that's a story. That's a Harrisonburg like root for this
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
story.
Good guys.
And I love
Yeah.
that they love the pony
Yeah,
and that you guys have such a cool relationship, and they've put
Yeah.
on some amazing shows.
Well, in many years ago, the first time I did Rock Lotto, our 4 guys, we were struggling, and we got contacted, and we said there's a sophomore from JMU who's joined Rock Lotto late, and we're assigning him to your band. It was his first foray into to the Harrisonburg music scene out of JMU. It was Jeff Gorman.
damn.
So
That's
me and
great.
Jeff Gorman played together in the basement of the Gold
Yeah.
Pony.
Yeah, those
nice.
dudes they're just working class heroes. They just go and go and go, and they work so hard, and they're just like salt of the earth.
Yeah.
they're
Like
good
dudes
humans.
and-
They're just
Yeah.
good people.
Good.
They
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
but
Where-
and
now
they
where-
just work so hard, and they just their conceptualization of like what they're doing is just always so crystallized. They're so
Right.
clean in their understanding of what it is that they're doing and what they're trying to do, and so they have their format, and
Yeah.
they just shoot out songs. And our sound guy Eric Shy, who started with us in the beginning and was with us for years, great friend of mine. They worked with him at the Pony for all of their shows there over the years, and then eventually they were like, we want to take you on the road, and so he left the Pony and went on the road with those guys, and it's been a great gig for him, and it was a bummer for us to lose him, but we were super stoked for him, and super stoked for those dudes to have somebody that
Yeah.
capable, because Shy's just working class dude too,
Yeah.
just get it done.
How far up the food chain are they? Like, say, compared to Trent and Steel Wheels, are they in that same ballpark?
It's really hard to kind of understand impact when it comes to artists and whatnot, because you'll look at a band and be like, well, they got 8,000 followers on Instagram.
That might mean nothing.
And then but their connection to their audience is so profound that
Right.
everybody in like 100-mile radius is going to be beating down the door to go to this show. And then other times you'll have a band that's got 50,000 followers on Instagram, and you're just like
And they're all in California.
just
Some of those-
screaming about it just to get people to come.
That's just
Yeah.
like vaporware. They had a like a singer songwriter from Northern Virginia at Court Square Theater who had, on paper or looking at the numbers,
Yeah.
and nobody showed up.
yeah.
That's what you're talking
It's,
about.
I mean, that's live music for you in a
Well-
nutshell, because you can book whatever you want, and it could just as easily be a flop as it could be a success. Well, that's exaggerating, obviously, but it's just wild to me sometimes, because even when we had that HR show, that show, we came close to selling out, but I would have expected a much more massive response to that.
What is your average ticket price? Like when you
Average, I don't know, maybe about
$20?
no, it wouldn't be that much.
Oh, cool.
Probably more like 12 or 13.
That's cheap.
Which is
It is-
thrown off.
it is
Yeah, I
cheap.
mean,
It's
the
cheap.
most expensive. We just had Randy from. Oh God knows. Lamb of God,
Oh yeah.
and which we found out he and I went to the same high school. Which is
Ah,
absolutely insane and
Cool.
just unbelievable, but super awesome dude. And he was doing a book tour kind of thing, which was almost like a stand-up comedy show, but it was really good. And tickets for that were $60. And when we had Baroness, that show also, when you have a room that you can only sell 175 tickets for, you do the math on, this band needs, 10 grand, 12 grand, you're going to have to do tickets that are expensive.
Yeah.
But,
Sure.
people in those scenarios, I mean, nobody that came to the Baroness show or the Randy show, like, complained at all about the price, because they knew, they understand why.
yeah.
And they're so happy to be seeing those artists in a room that small.
That close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lucero shows, the same thing. Like, it's like you don't get to see those bands
Right.
anywhere close to that size.
I-
They never play any places like that either. So when the biggest bands play our tiny venue, they're the ones that are the most excited about it oftentimes, because they're like, dude, we're playing behind barricades and, we're so far from the crowd. Like, this is so unique for us because we get to be this close to the audience, and we really love that.
I want to make sure that people who've never been to the Golden Pony, the downstairs has a fantastic space. It's great. The stage it's just a slightly higher than where the audience is standing, and you literally are right there. They have a great light. You guys really invested in lights.
Yeah.
You have. I mean, it really. I've had the pleasure of playing
Oh,
there
yeah.
just a couple months ago. A really fun show that Jeff put on with a bunch of local bands, all for Cat's Cradle. Great time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just a fun event, but it is a great venue. And if you've never been there, go check out their calendar. They've got it's the variety of shows that you guys have going on. It's really good. I mean,
Yeah, we definitely have
you're doing
something for
good.
everybody.
Hey, before we get done, we got to talk Super Gr8 Festival.
Oh yeah.
Give us the
Super
elevator.
Gr8.
Give us the elevator speech.
There might not be a Golden Pony without a Super Great Film Festival.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of crazy. But yeah, Super Gr8 was started in 2009 by myself and Tim Estep, and because we were both, film guys. Like, I've been a photographer most of my life, and, I'm just passionate about photography, cinematography, and art in general, of course. But, Tim is like a real deal filmmaker, and we both had, a couple Super 8 cameras in our quiver. And we're just passionate about it. It's like, you just want to see more of it. It's like you want to have an excuse to shoot it. It's like, I love Super 8 film so much. It's beautiful. And so Tim was like, why don't we do a festival? Because I had done the Skate and Worshippers art show, and that was like a big kind of big hit, and lots of people involved. And he was like, we should do something that's kind of like Rock Lotto, but with Super 8 cameras. And so, we talked about it, and then, the piece of his idea that was so brilliant was to do all the editing in camera. And so everybody gets a camera from us and a cartridge of film, Super 8 film, that's 3 minutes and 20 seconds long. And they go out and they shoot everything in the order that it's going to show, and then they don't get to see their film until they're watching it with the audience at the actual festival. And so that creates kind of this huge, like, level of excitement that you don't find at other, like, viewing situations. So
Amazing.
it almost feels like you're at a really good play production, because people are, like, clapping and laughing really loud, and there's just all of this energy in the audience, much more than you would ever see watching any kind of film. You know, they spend millions of dollars on a film and nobody makes a peep in the theater. But, you know, we have these, like, Super 8 films that get made by people that aren't even filmmakers a lot of the times, and everybody's just losing their shit and loving every second of it.
Yeah.
Well, how did you decide how many cameras you're going to give out?
Well, a lot of it had to do with just, you know, I mean, you're just like, I don't know, how many do you think we should do? And, you know, so we were like, you know,
I don't know. What do you want to do?
want to do?
because it's like, give me an excuse to buy a camera.
Yeah,
And, like,
right.
You don't really have to do much else
That's
than
funny.
that. It's like, I would do anything just to be able to buy. Like, I've got Polaroid cameras that used to belong to dental offices, and I just love cameras. And so we just bought a bunch of Super 8 cameras, and then, you know, we just started being, I don't even think we had like a target number. I
Yeah.
think we would have been cool with like 5 films or something.
Right.
And
How many years now has it been?
it's been, this will be like well, we did it for 10 years, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then we took the last like 4 years off.
Right.
So we're bringing it back this year for the first time since 2019.
Okay,
So, you know,
gotcha.
that's kind of why it's like
That's
a
nice.
big deal now.
Did the
There's a lot
11
of people that have no idea what it was like, but for 10 years it was like everybody was always looking forward. You know, it just took all the creative people in this community and just kind of smashed them together and gave them a
Right.
reason to hang out and a reason to, like, actually be productive, and not
Totally.
just, you know, it would be cool to make a film like this. You know,
Yeah, right.
we got to make a film. Like, this is what it should be about. And, you know, somebody writes it, somebody acts it, somebody shoots it, somebody lights it, you know, and just all
Yeah.
these different people, creative people, come together. And it's just like, you know, I'm pretty sure people are married now that met making
Yeah,
Super 8
right.
films.
Yeah. No,
And
it's
bands and just
it's something
all these
very
creative-
interesting that you do. I think that is so special, is basically providing like spaces, opportunities, or whatever the fuel is, the spark needed to get creative people focused on
Yeah.
something. And I think
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That's
I mean,
gonna be
even a porch, even your porch where people are smoking cigarettes. I know it seems silly, but that area is necessary
Yeah.
for artists for
Sure.
100%.
So we're talking October 4th and 5th at the Court Square Theater for
Mhm.
this year's version of Super Gr8.
Yeah.
How many
It's
films?
going to be about 40 films.
Oof,
So
20
Yeah.
a night.
And you get
Mhm.
under assistance from the Arts Council of the Valley this time
yeah,
around.
we got on board with the Arts Council this year, and they got a grant for they're celebrating their 25th anniversary. And so they're doing these really like kind of keystone events throughout the year, and that they wrote the grant for, and they reached out to us and were like, you know, we like you to bring Super Gr8 back, obviously, because we had talked about it for years, bringing it back, and got even on the calendar sometimes, and then it's like, oh no, it's not right yet. And they were like, you know, we're willing to, you know, include you in this grant, and it'll cover everybody's entry fee and all this other stuff. So that made it really easy this year, because, you know, none of the filmmakers had to pay to participate. And so it's going to be really, really cool. And I think,
We got
you know-
four people on the podcast involved. Mike,
yeah,
Christian, Mom Shackles, and me. All did the audio track for
Yeah.
our film.
yeah, it's like the, what is it, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or something?
Yeah,
It's like
right. Yeah.
Anybody you meet in Harrisonburg has like some just like probably at a factor of like 2 people away from like a Super 8 film.
We're trying to work on that as far as the podcast too.
Yeah, you guys are getting there. Man.
There was
Putting up numbers.
a couple of weeks ago. It seemed like everybody was like, "There's anybody who wants to meet, wear a black shirt on Court Square."
Yeah, right,
It just seemed like people kept saying that, or dress up funny and meet us over here.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to find Matt Hall, put him in there for movie.
Oh man,
Well, I cannot express to you how thankful I am that you came on
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Paul.
Thank you very much.
But I really just thanks for all that you've done for Harrisonburg.
Absolutely.
Our town is it's cool because of people like you
Yeah.
helping create spaces.
yeah, it's been a
People
pleasure. And people like Jay that have come before me that are doing this stuff, and
long before you.
I'm not doing Jack.
no. Jay is the funniest man in Harrisonburg for sure.
Hey, you're the one that gave me the
Yeah,
I got a lot
the
of
Mennonite Larry
The
David.
Mennonite Larry David. I got a lot of mileage of mileage of
dude,
that at the Clean Comedy.
It's like I remember when I thought of that, it was like Jesus. Jay there is the Mennonite Larry David.
I would kick off stand-up comedy routines at Quid Square Theater. But I'm Jay Zare, the Mennonite Larry David. Bring the house down.
Oh, they love it. Yeah, but no, Jay Zare he's on the.
He's won a few awards on the old great
yeah.
Super Great.
I mean,
well.
his films are incredible.
Yeah.
every single year because he participated the first year and every year, right?
Well, no,
Or did you miss
there was 2 years I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get it done.
He thought he'd let someone else win.
Yeah,
those
let
2
someone
years.
else
Let
win
someone
those 2
else
years.
win.
And my brother was really like this year. He didn't. I mean, his project fell through and he had to change course at the last minute. But I think he says it's going to be better. But,
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mark Finks made one.
Mhm.
And Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
else is doing one this year?
Let's see. Well, Chris Hughes.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Chris
wow!
Hughes. Hopefully the watermelons will be safe this year, although I can't promise it. And then, of course, Ivan Christo.
Of course.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of some other like big fun ones that have happened over the year or that have participated previously.
Well, Linda Bostrom was
Yeah.
way back in the day.
Yeah,
did
she
a
did.
really, really good, nice one.
That
She was the one that
amazing
inspired.
animation.
She inspired me to move over to animation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh my God, she worked so hard and made such a beautiful film. And she made it. I think it was like at least twice, but maybe even more because she had some camera issues.
Oh,
And I mean, that's one of the 1 year I made a film with my kids that was all stop motion animation, and it takes forever. It's so tedious. And then we
You
were
start
trying to get it
dreaming about
done.
numbers.
Yeah, and it was like the day that we were sending off the film, and so I was like, kids, we got to get up early and finish the film today. And so we got up, finished it, and we're all celebrating like, yay, we finished it. And I popped the back of the camera open to get the film out, and it was just empty. Like, I never loaded the film. It was such a gut punch, and in front of your kids too. It's just it's like getting beat up by like some dude that's not even like as big as you are, right in front of your kids. That's what it felt like. It was absolutely shameful.
But I mean,
But we remade it, But it was still just man.
you got that apprehension. Like even now, like I don't know. I wanted to buy a camera and I got it out, and I'm not sure that it was working properly, and I wasn't sure if the frame count's going to match up. So you don't find out. You don't find out till Patrick.
Yeah, it gives a lot of people anxiety, that's for sure. But it's like, it's the kind of thing where it's like, if you knew how hard it was to do what you wanted to do, you would never, ever do it. But people coming into the Super Gr8 Film Festival, they don't know Super 8 or even filmmaking period and stuff. Like, dude, I want to do a film where a guy falls off a cliff and then a car goes right after him and just burn, and it's like, then they sign up for these like crazy animations and stuff. And you would not do that if you understood how difficult it was, but it's to their benefit because they don't know, because they're so naive to how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be. They just push through and they do it anyway. And then they come out on the other side and it's like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
How much are you going to be? I know Patrick always color corrects everything,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's only like about 5 weeks left till.
Yeah, it's going to be here any
have you shipped them?
day, it feels like.
Have you shipped them off to Super Pro 8?
Almost, but not yet. We're going to ship them off probably tomorrow, and then they're going to send them back, and Pat and I will sit down and kind of look at everything and decide, what order to put it all in and chop it up and make the 2 different nights and add some titles and all that stuff, and then of course we got to add the audio because that's the other part of it is they give us some audio to put onto it. But nobody's going to see their film until October 4th and 5th, so it's very exciting.
The very first time you're in there, you're like, holy smokes, I'm sitting here in front of the whole city of Harrisonburg, everybody in town, and you have no idea how it's going to turn out.
And then we do we have the after party and award ceremonies at at the Pony afterwards, and you know, a lot of people dress up, and you know, it's just like it's about as close to the Oscars in Harrisonburg as you can get.
Nice.
And so that makes it a lot of fun too.
Yeah, and there you go.
Maybe
folks.
we'll bring some recording equipment to
Yeah,
that.
we should totally
Yeah.
bring
Go
recording.
around.
Yeah, and
What are you wearing?
oh, that's a
Oh, yeah.
fun idea.
Who are you wearing?
Who are you wearing?
Who are you wearing?
Gift
love
and
it.
thrift.
Gift thrift. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mercy House.
Yeah, yeah. I usually I'll get like a thrift store suit and then have it like tailored. There's a Chinese tailor in town called Chong's, and I took this old plaid Alfred Ney's, so that was really cool because that was like a clothing store in Harrisonburg for many years. And Frank Marshman's mother dressed mannequins.
We had
Yep.
we had a
We had that
conversation.
conversation.
Yeah, okay.
with
So
it.
it
Yeah,
was
that
an
was
Alfred Ney's suit, and I took it to the Chinese tailor Chong's right next to Alley Cat, where Alley Cat Tattoo used to be. And you know, they didn't speak much English, and you know, I told them what I wanted, but I left there just like, I don't know what this suit's gonna look like. And I came back and put the suit on, and you know, I've never really worn a suit that like looked good on me
Yeah.
because you know, it's just not the way I grew up. But I put this suit on, and it was just like, holy smoke! It was amazing.
Yeah.
They made it look like the coolest suit in the world.
That's
And so, you know, usually that's what I'll do is get an old suit and try and find a tailor to make it fit me.
Nice.
That's awesome. It's so funny when I hear these tales. You chose the Dodger. If you had chose the grill, you would have been part owner of the grill.
Yeah,
in the
that's
heart,
Yeah,
too.
dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
100%.
Yeah.
I see it now. I'm like looking at you, being
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, you would. We would have suckered you right
Yeah.
into that place, guaranteed.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because a lot of places that I work, like they would always tell me, like, we're gonna make you part owner one day, and I was always in my head just like, hell no. I put myself through college for a reason, you know, bartending and waiting tables, and you know, raising kids and just struggling, working in restaurants and bars, and it was like, I want to get out of here. And then I taught for 2 years, and then I got sucked into the bar world because we moved back to Harrisonburg from Lumberton, and I had to commute back to Robeson County to finish my graduate coursework for that last semester. And it was a 7-hour drive down and 7 hours back up. And I had to do it every week, so I couldn't teach when I got back to Harrisonburg. And so I was like, well, I'm going to get a job bartending again. And my friend Trip Madison, you know, I was
Elwood Trip Madison.
Elwood Trip Madison the third.
Where is he at down there?
He lives in Richmond now. He does incredible graphic design
Yeah,
work,
he was
and
fan.
I mean, just one of the best dudes I've ever met in my life. One of the first people I met in Harrisonburg too. We both worked at the Ruby Tuesdays at the mall,
Oh yes.
and he got me the job at the Dodger, and I started, and you know, it was great. I loved it. There was lots of interesting people there and lots of interesting stuff. And then they asked me to start coordinating the art shows, and you know, all of that kind of led to Super Gr8, and you know, Super Gr8 kind of led to the Golden Pony, and you know, Chris Clark from the Artful Dodger was just, you know, he just gave me a lot of autonomy to do things there, and then when I went to the Blue Nile and worked for the Arafani family, it was the same thing, and you know, what they had built was so interesting and so wonderful. You know, the idea of it going away, you know, that's what really convinced me. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to feed my family off of doing this, but you know, this Golden Pony idea that I have, you know, just a couple days after I found out that the Blue Nile was going to close, and you know, 5 weeks from then I was signing the lease like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Your hands shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
here goes. Yeah.
I was committed to what the Arafanis had done there with the Blue Nile. You know, I always, you know, it wasn't lost on me that, you know, a couple that lived through the Civil War in Ethiopia in the 1970s and immigrated here, and you know, became, you know, worked as a chemical engineer, and Hami was a OR room nurse at UVA. You know, just brilliant people, and they wanted to share their culture and give their daughters a place to work, and so they opened an Ethiopian restaurant, and it became, you know, just the spot that had all the different kinds of shows. All the U.S. born, you know, establishments were, you know, not going to let Buck Gooder play. They weren't going to let hip hop shows happen. But the Arafanis, it could be the weirdest in the world, and they would have no problem with it whatsoever.
Got to give a shout out to Vonda Brown. Who
The international festival.
International Festival was where they started off serving
right.
food, and she strongly encouraged them to start their own restaurant. According to her, I don't know if that's a true story or not. But
Yeah, it's crazy, and so, it was cool, and we would have never been able to do the Golden Pony if the Blue Nile wasn't there before. There's no way you could start that from scratch. It's because of their commitment to live music, and there's just something special about in Ethiopian culture, and just letting young people be creative and do whatever it is they're going to do, no matter how weird it is. It's like when you're older, you're not supposed to understand what the young kids are doing. That's a good thing. And so they facilitated all these just crazy shows, and then but they weren't interested in any of that music
Right.
themselves. They had Ethiopian New Year's every year, and for that they would get like a special musician to come, and it would just be like one dude playing a Casio keyboard, and everybody just like love it, and it was incredible too. I was really into it myself.
It was a really good Casio player.
That's awesome.
Oh man, well, we should probably cut it. But man, what a
Yeah.
great time!
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
again.
you. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Sweet,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
awesome.
so is the mellow tones of the voice from Brazil in the background.
I hear
Yes,
it.
the
I hear
voice,
it.
yeah.
There they are.
Somebody's behind me. I don't know.
The flashing Jesus.
Flashing
is in
Jesus on the wall.
back, yeah.
Once again, thanks to Paul Summers for coming down here again, and thanks to Ruby's Arcade, our sponsor in scenic downtown Harrisonburg. Come down here at 7:30. Come down. We need you down here at 7:30 for
Right.
Bingo is Life at every Tuesday night, and then listen to us anytime you want to on the internets. And we'll see you next week, kids.
Adios.
Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast, is brought to you by the Brothers How to Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun.